Hi, Joe here for GoonerTube, and I'm talking to Andy. Andy, your thoughts on the result against Leicester?
You've called me just after the game, Joe, and if you'd have called me about 20 minutes ago, I'd have been absolutely fuming, swearing like a good one. Quite frankly, it was just dire. The whole thing was just dire. There was no spark, just flat as a pancake. And I mentioned just a second ago, Lacazette is driving me insane. He gets the ball and he's looking for fouls rather than look at get the few fouls on the edge of the box. Every player does that. Love it. He gets it so often on the edge of the box, and rather than go for the player or look for space or look for something, he just goes down every time. It's driving me bloody mad.
Mm.
And then every time he doesn't have the ball, he nips at people's ankles and gives away free kicks in stupid areas all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just think for the player of that supposed quality, he's the most frustrating forward I've known for bloody ages at Arsenal.
Hmm. I mean, apart from that miss that I think my nan probably could have headed in, and she's been gone 15 years, bless her. But so I mean, but she probably still could have headed it in. So
Yeah,
I find that really, really frustrating to know that he is our, I suppose if you want to call it, our number one sort of poacher, fox in the box style
absolutely.
player. Do you think it's time for him to? Do you think it's time for Arteta to give him more time on the pitch to help him correct that, or to stick someone like Nketiah in?
I think the problem is, Joe, I think there's too many players like him at the moment, to be fair, that shouldn't be on the bloody pitch. But what have we got as backup? I mean, the backup, we've got all these young lads. Give them a chance, absolutely. But we just haven't got any quality. You think about, and I am desperate. I am desperate for Martinelli to get fit. Desperate. Now, and I'm not saying he's the finished article, but what we saw before his injury, there's enough in there that says he should be on the pitch ahead of Lacazette every single game. And Ketia, for me, is just not good enough. He shows glimpses, but he's not good enough. He ain't going to lead you to glory. He ain't going to lead you to top floor place. No way.
No.
Martinelli, I've got a fighting chance he might do that.
Mm.
It's just poor, Joe. Everywhere you look on the pitch, it's just poor. You think about Mustafi came on. Okay, granted, he came on, not good enough. Louise, up to that point, was our most creative player. By far the most creative. He's centre back. Most creative player. Aubameyang, I know, he scored recently, but that's just hidden over the cracks. Since he signed his contract, we said it. How many times have we said it? He's just been bloody poor. I don't know what it is. Whether he's just switched off. He's got his 200 grand a week, whatever it is. I get so frustrated. Ceballos tonight. I mean, what happened to him? Every touch he did, he's touching the ball was dreadful. I don't know what's gone wrong with him. It's just static. It's just there's no creativity, and it's driving me insane.
Did you find that? I mean, Partey. Not saying he went missing tonight, but Kaya made the point that he felt that Partey didn't trust the likes of Xhaka, whereas he probably would trust the likes of El Neni.
Yeah,
Because he played with him midweek, and El Neni couldn't really put a foot wrong. He was almost like an unsung
no.
hero during the week. Do you feel that he would have probably done a bit more with El Neni next to him rather than Xhaka, who seemed to just be making silly mistakes all the time? He was
Absolutely.
really frustrating to watch, wasn't he?
Well, there was one at the end, Joe. I don't know if you remember it. I'm sure you do. But there was one at the end where Shaq pulled the bloke back with like 2 minutes ago or something like that. I mean, what the hell are you doing? Seriously, just use your brain. He's
Yeah,
just not an intelligent player, is he? But going back to your point, I thought Partey played well. He was, again, Rapid Vienna was outstanding, wasn't he? Let's be
yeah,
honest. For a debut, especially. Today, there was no airs and graces, but he's just solid. But I go back, yeah, you're probably right, actually. There's no confidence in the players around him. And the point I was going to make after Rapid Vienna was, you know what? He shows up our midfield for what they are, just bloody damn average. Every single one of them is just damn average, which is great. It's a good thing, actually. You've got a quality player in there, but he needs one or two other players around him that are quality.
mm,
He's got right in the middle of him, just average. Ceballos, El Neni. I know he played well against Rapid Vienna, for example, but he's average. Let's be brutally honest, he's average. Ceballos showing him he's just average. You got out on the left, so on the right, you got Pepe just a little bit ahead of him, bang average. I mean, everywhere you look, it's
yeah,
just mediocrity.
yeah. I mean, Dorse made the point that we've got a player who can penetrate with those sort of splitting passes and everything, and he's not even in the squad.
It's a valid point. It is a valid point. I mean, I've not been a big fan of Ozil
You've
in
even
the
forgotten
last
his name.
12 months. Yeah, you know what? He ain't be. He's so. Who is this bloke? Right? He gets paid £300 a week. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But it's outrageous, isn't it? You know, the guy's been allowed to sit there. And to be brutally honest, forget about who the player is, but in terms of what he can bring, okay, he hasn't brought it every game, but we need a bit of that. And if it ain't going to be him, then we need someone damn quick in that January transfer window to create some positivity and creativity.
Maybe they are working towards something, and we have mentioned about the fact that there was a rumor going around that they were going to try and go back and get Auer in January. So maybe they are holding out for that, especially with not knowing what's happening with Özil. Maybe they don't want to get him injured, like a long-term injury. I mean, he could come on for 15 minutes and do his ACL or something, and so maybe they're willing to take the hit for that reason. There's got to be something going on, because surely you would want to play your best player in that position, and it looks as if that's not happening at the moment. And Partey, like you say, he's going to get a little bit disillusioned if he hasn't got that sort of protection.
Yeah, no, completely. But if you look about the setup we had today, Joe, you think about the creativity, right? We've got one or two players. Pepe come on, right? We've got one or two players that can do that stuff, right? I'm not saying to Özil level when he won the World Cup, right? But when he came to Arsenal, he was awesome. Let's be brutally honest, he was a great player. But it's almost between that midfield and the front 1, 2, whatever you want to refer to them as. There's no gap, there's no link. So you've got this kind of this expectation of Saka's on the left, got Pepe on the right. Okay, well he didn't play today, but he came on the sub. But they're not getting behind the back. And you look at the movement, Lacazette's movement was just dire.
Yeah.
And Aubameyang, okay, he's going through a bad period, right? But we know he's good enough to, he can create space, he can create gaps. You know, he did a couple of runs with Luis over the top, which is great. But Lacazette's movement was just poor. Yeah. Just poor. And I've lost patience with him, Joe. I used to love Lacazette, but every time I've seen him in the last maybe year or so, I think, he's a good player, but he's not a quality, world-class player.
He doesn't stand out, does he? He's just like another squad player now. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's a top 8 player.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where we're going to end up again. Top 6 maybe. But the way we're playing at the moment, if we finish top 6, I'll be delighted.
Well, we did mention that as well, and I said the way we performed tonight, and bearing in mind where we've got to go next, hoping for 4 points out of 2 games as now we've got to hope for 3 points out of 2 games, and the second one of the 2 is away. So, the way that Man United are playing now, their confidence is going to be higher, so it's going to make it even harder. I mean, maybe playing away from home, we'll play a little bit freer. I mean, it might be a bit better, but who's to say? We might end up with no points from these two particular games. In which case, that'll prove a point, I think, and that'll prove that maybe we're not even a top six side at the moment. We're still miles away from where we thought we were going. And Joe, I don't
know about you, but I saw the lineup today. When I first saw the lineup, I was genuinely, I wouldn't say excited, but I was kind of pleased with what I saw. I thought Ceballos and Partey in the middle, the first time I played together, is that right? Yeah, the first time I played together.
Yeah.
I thought, actually, you know what? There could be a bit of quite a dynamic duo, for want of a better term, but a bit of action, a bit of flair about both of them. Just moving things forward. And Ceballos was probably his worst game I've seen him play for bloody ages.
Yeah.
And it was just deflating. The whole thing was boring, deflating, just
slow. But hey, Leicester did a job on us. So I suppose in some respects you've got to tip your hat to Brendan Rodgers and the fact that he did a job on us, didn't he, tonight? It was a real, like they was calling it a smash and grab at the end, and it was. As much as it pains me to say it was a smash and grab. We didn't take our chances, and if at this level you get punished.
Absolutely. And listen. How many times has Vardy punished over the last 4, 5, 6 years? I mean, every time it's always him. As soon as he came on, you just knew that speed. Going at Mustafi, we've got no chance.
Yeah, well, we all knew what was going to happen there. As soon as he went on his shoulder, we got worried that he might play off of Luis's shoulder, but he got lucky tonight. And because Luis was on form, but Luis had to go off. Mustafi comes on, and we all knew straight away what was going to happen. And You know, if it
There it
wasn't for
was.
if it wasn't for Bernd Leno, it would have been a double. He would have doubled that lead. So we have to lay off Bernd Leno. I think he did us a favour by keeping it
Yeah,
down
I
to
think
one
he
tonight.
did.
But anyway,
Yeah, I agree completely.
but look, thanks for talking, and you know, let's try and we've got our frustrations out. Well, you have, and let's move on to the next one. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.